Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Digna.
Welcome to Relationships.
We're a couple having a few.
You can find us on social media. We're on Facebook, and it's facebook.com/a-couple-having-a-few. On Instagram, we are instagram.com/getting-to-know-brews. And you can find us on YouTube. Our channel name is Getting to Know Brews. If you want to reach out to us via email, you can email us at drinkndrive@icloud.com. That's drinkndrive@icloud.com. What time is it? It's time for coffee.
It's time for lunch.
Maybe somewhere in the Atlantic. Maybe in the Azores.
I ate brunch.
What'd you have for brunch?
Sweet potato and taco meat.
Sweet potato and taco. Sweet potato taco.
Both leftovers.
Tacos.
Tacos.
That was a Papa-ism. How did Papa say tacos?
Tacos. We're gonna have us some tacos.
You ever have the tacos? Every time I do it, I feel like I'm being Will Ferrell with his George W. Bush impersonation from
tacos.
Hey, Condi, let's get us some tacos. That's who I feel like I'm being.
I mean, that's about what it sounded like.
Yeah, George W. was my grandfather. Figure that out. Right now, we're sitting on the back porch.
On the lanai.
On the lanai.
I guess it's not a lanai.
I don't know what a lanai is. I'm not going to lanai about that. And that's my truth. But we're staring over our swampy backyard. I think the waters have receded enough so that it's not legitimately a lake, but it's definitely going to be mucky.
Yeah, we had the hurricane a few weeks ago now, and that basically dried up, but not enough to support the very random torrential downpour we got with a cold front from the north about a week ago.
But it's Sunday now, and last Friday, so not 2 days ago, but I guess 9 days ago, we watched The Princess Bride, and we watched it in the backyard on the screen and all that stuff. And I don't know if we even covered this in the other episode, but
I don't think so. That we have one? No.
That we watched the movie and then it rained.
No.
Oh, well, then it rained that night, so we watched the movie and we're like, it might rain.
It didn't rain. It torrential downpour.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. We thought maybe we'd get like a little drizzle in the night. Drizzle in the night. That's all I can say because I don't know the rights to that song.
But that was a parody.
A parody, so I can sing it all day.
You can drizzle all you want.
I can drizzle some fat beats, yo.
Don't do that.
It rained so bad. We left everything in place, and everything was soaked.
Everything was still in place. Underwater.
Yes. The screen is a giant inflatable screen. And we even left the blower on it and everything. We just went inside.
We didn't leave it inflated. We left it, just on the ground. And
yeah, just
that
didn't
was
unhook
a mistake.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, we brought in all our electronic equipment and all that kind of stuff. But that was it. And the electronic equipment is all fine and dandy because it went inside. But the screen was legitimately underwater the next day when I came and got it.
It was laying on the ground where it should be, but it was just, mid-shin
yeah,
deep?
And the thing is, it's not like
it's
not like it's beautiful, clean pool water. It is like scuzzy,
mucky, gross backyard water,
and
mosquito
there are
larvae
ants and all sorts of things on it. Earwigs. I got bit by an earwig for the first time.
Ew.
You know, with their little
mosquito. I know they are with their little pincers.
Yeah, and I found a giant earthworm too. You remember I brought that thing?
Disgusting.
That thing was like an earth snake. I think it was huge.
It was.
I put it in the flower bed up front, so
the blower was also in the water, or was it like
it
was
just in the water? Yeah, so I hosed it off. I was like, well, I know it's a piece of electronic equipment, but I hosed it off anyway, and then I hit it with the blower, the yard blower, leaf blower, and kind of hoped for the best. And I was like, well, you know what? It's a blower. I'm just going to turn it on. And it blew out some water to begin with, and it seemed fine afterward. So, knock on wood, I think we did okay.
Write that manufacturer a good review.
You guys made something that did not break.
You made something that worked.
And then, so what we had to do is I drug it out of the watery area of the backyard, and then I kind of laid it back out the way it's supposed to be, and I reinflated it, and it was gross. And I hit it. It probably took me 40 minutes to get all of the crap,
the grass
off of
and
it.
the mud and the earwigs and the.
It was so
At one point,
bad.
I saw a spider crawling across it because you were hosing it.
I got ants on my legs while I was doing it too. It was like so I had to spray my legs every couple of seconds.
Was it one of those like ant mountains that you've or islands that you've seen?
Maybe it was a partial island. It was an archipelago, an ant archipelago. Yeah, so that was so since that time, our yard has been a legitimate lake. Like, it was underwater.
It was beautiful during the sunsets, though, because the sunsets
It
in the backyard.
It was actually very picturesque at sunset.
Yeah, so it was just like, you get all the pretty oranges and purples and all that hit at sunset, but they were reflecting off of our backyard lake. And
I was joking that the lakefront property totally raised the value of our house. I mean, isn't that always like when you go on like a realty website, they're like blah blah blah, lakefront property. And
now they just say waterfront property because it's all
retention
subdivisions
pond.
that they have to dig
that's
out.
the thing. That's the thing they do around here. Yeah, we're so close to sea level. So what they end up doing is they dig a giant pit, and that's what they use as fill dirt to build up these subdivisions. I've seen it time and time again.
And then they tell you that it's waterfront
Yeah,
property.
and then
it's very cute.
Isn't that like the thing that's like, they piss on me and tell me it's raining?
Yeah.
Like,
equally as silly was when we were first looking at apartments in St. Louis. And we were looking at one that claimed to have a water feature on the roof, and we were so excited because I thought pool, spa, I don't know, a fountain or something, and it was legitimately just what I dubbed the prison shower, so just like a pole in the roof that had about 4 shower heads, and they just had like Shea lounges, like the pool lounge chairs around it. So you were just supposed to
get up and
mist yourself and then continue to sunburn on the top of a tar roof.
Mist yourself off and try again. But that's those showers are like the ones, if you ever go to like a public beach.
Yeah.
And you want to rinse all the sand off.
They're not a prison shower, they're a beach shower more accurately, I guess, ew, there's mosquito larvae in the pot.
What pot?
Vase. Oh, there's a lot of them in there.
Oh.
Gross. Sorry, I just looked over. I'm so proud of myself. I have this vase full of water to which I had transplanted this one plant that was suffering inside the house. And it's got mosquito larvae wriggling inside of it, which is freaking gross. Well, we have mosquitoes in here if you were curious.
Well,
in our lanai.
In the words of Jeff Goldblum, life finds a way.
Yeah, it wasn't like a mystery. We just got mosquitoes in here and they laid their stupid eggs in my stupid
That
face.
that is the one thing that we have
Ugh.
gone through now because of the hurricane, and having standing water before the hurricane, and then the hurricane came and it gave us more water, and then like we said after the movie, we've got more. The mosquitoes right now are at like an all-time high.
It's horrendous.
It's like you sit outside past like 6 o'clock and you are taking your life into your own hands.
No, they are taking your life into their own mouth.
Yes, they are sucking your essence. So, which is why with the whole movie night thing that we've been doing, I have those like long sleeve, the SPF shirts, the ones that, so you don't get sunburned. I have one of those on and a pair of like jeans, and then any exposed skin beyond that, I will actually put like off, spray that. And then we have citronella candles and like the citronella coils and tiki torches.
That's a lot.
Like it's a whole production when we set up the movie.
It is a lot. It will be nice if we do this later on in the year and actually cool out, because it's been relatively cool for here for the past few days. And
you say if we do this, like it's not going to happen.
Okay, whatever.
When
and it's been nice for the past couple of days. You wake up and it's like in the mid 50s and it warms up to like 70, which has been beautiful. But we haven't. I haven't noticed mosquitoes as much. Although I don't know if I've sat out in the evenings. I don't know if they would still come out.
I talked to the neighbors. No, I guess that was still before the cold days. But I was gonna say when I was out talking to the neighbor across the street, it was like 7:30, and I could just...
Oh, no, that was horrible.
I could feel it hitting my legs. Like,
that was the day after it rained, wasn't it? Oh, no,
maybe.
when was that? That was the day after it rained. Since we are outside, I keep That's why I noticed the mosquito larvae. Now I'm watching a squirrel in the backyard, and it was on one side of like a tiny little twig that's on the ground, and rather than just like crawl over it or walk around it, it like deer hopped over it. Like it was quite funny actually. You know, what did deer do? They like when they bounce. You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what that's called. Whatever they do.
Prancing?
Yeah, more like a prance. The squirrel pranced over this twig so that it could get to the other side.
He's a prancing fellow.
He's very cute. So cute.
How did the squirrel cross the branch? Prance to the other side. Yeah, but other than the flood, I think everything's been more settled recently. Yeah, in a lot of ways.
We had some friends over, actually that day that you went across the street to talk to the neighbors for the first time. We had some of my previous coworkers and friends that, you know, I haven't worked there for almost 3 years now, but, you know, two, sorry. Almost 2 years. And, you know, I see those 4 or 5 people every single day, and we hung out a couple times outside of work and all that, and, you know, people have moved to different jobs and had a bunch of kids and been busy and stuff like that, but
well, I would say out of all of those people, only one of them now still works there, right?
Yes.
Other people who showed up.
I don't know. Samantha is kind of like on again, off again. I don't know if she's on or off at this point, but
depending on the day of the week.
Yeah. So yeah, folks have moved on and all that. And yeah, one of them just got a new job somewhere else, and so he had like a get together of that group at Hell and Blazes, and after that I was like, man, it was fun to hang out with you guys. Like, maybe we should do this again sometime soon and not wait 1.5 years to hang out. And I got the I'm down from a couple people, and I was like, all right. So we picked a date and had everybody over, and I think it was 10 adults to 17 children. That was the ratio. But it was a good time. I mean, all the toys got brought out, all the chairs got brought out. We hung out outside for the most part and had a bunch of snacks, and folks brought things, and
we smoked cheese. Yeah.
Yeah, not chiva, cheese.
Oh, yes, cheese. Cheese. Queso.
Most everybody is pretty into beer and avid beer drinkers, so there was a lot of sharing and bringing randoms and
smoked
trying
cheese.
Smoked cheese. And it was a good time. It was a really good time.
I have to keep saying it because we smoked the cheese.
Joe smoked the cheese. I did not.
Come on, it's us.
I mean, we were hosting the place that had smoked cheese, but I had nothing to do with it because I stepped away from the cheese smoking biz after my one encounter with trying to smoke something by myself, and I decided to add cheese to it.
Oh.
Didn't think about the melting point of cheese. I was trying to just kind of get it done quickly. I was smoking kebabs and, you know, put these beautiful kebabs together with Des and put some cheese on it because he wanted it to be like a cheeseburger, and did not think it through, and opened the smoker to just goo at the bottom of the smoker. Everything else was smoked fine, you know, it stayed on the kebab, but the cheese did not survive kebab life. And it was quite funny. So I was like, you know what? I don't need to be involved in this.
That cheese, because when we pulled it out, it wasn't like smoldering any longer or anything like that. But that cheese from that experiment, it looked like if you were removing old caulking.
Yeah.
From like around a window or something, because you're going to recaulk it with like something fresh, and like just that was the texture.
Yeah, or like you hadn't like removed the tube from the caulking gun, and it just kept coming out of the.
But then it dried.
And then dried.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had I had smoked it for 15 minutes, and then just turned the smoker off, but obviously it still had heat. But then once it had cooled off, I took the food out, and so the cheese had melted and then rehardened into these ghastly, ghostly shapes. It was funny. I mean, it still tasted good.
It tasted fine.
It was mistakes.
But I did what was called cold smoking, so the cheese never got hot per se. And what you do is you put a tray of ice underneath where the cheese would be, so above the heat, the heat, but below the meat. But there was no meat; there was just cheese. And when you do that, the smoke will, of course, rise as it tends to do. But the heat is going to stay. It's going to be absorbed by the ice.
Tray of ice.
Yeah. So the tray of ice will. You actually have smoked water. We should drink it.
I don't want that.
No smoked water for us. Okay then.
Although, I mean, if it wasn't water, if it was ice made of something else, you could potentially make a cocktail out of it.
What if...
Because don't they, like, smoke cocktails sometimes?
What if you took, like, brand new whiskey that had not been...
Put in a barrel?
Put in a barrel or anything, and then you smoked it.
It would be very smoky.
And then, but, like, you put it in the tray, so all that smoke stuff gets into the tray, so maybe you would even change the color of it from, like, a clear...
To a brown?
To a brown.
It's an experiment.
Are we on to something?
You could just take,
I'm going to have to talk to Dave.
not whiskey, it's that gross corn stuff.
Corn whiskey?
Corn whiskey.
Like Everclear?
No, but the stuff they make in the...
Moonshine?
Moonshine, there you go.
Mountain Dew?
Yes, Everclear essentially, but yeah, moonshine is the word I was thinking of. Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew is a term for...
Really? Oh, Mountain Dew. I get it. I get it.
Yeah, that was where the name originated.
I did not know that.
And there is your history lesson. All right, goodbye, everybody. Or, White Lightning.
I knew that one.
That's a George Jones song, and he even says Mountain Dew in the song.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All I could concentrate on was White Lightning. All the ridiculous noises.
All right, before you judge what she just did, listen to the song White Lightning by George Jones.
There are a lot of noises that happen.
It might be White Lightning.
Probably. Did I say lightning?
No, I don't know. I just said White Lightning.
Ew.
Like I was from the suburbs.
White lightning.
No, do not say a hard G at the end. I don't know why. We have people in our lives that we've heard, and they will say things with a hard G. And it's like, do you know you're saying that?
It's not a hard G. It's a soft C. No, K. Soft K.
It was like, I was singing. Like, what? No, you were not singing. That is not the same word as singing.
Singing?
Singing in the rain. I'm singing in the rain.
Lip syncing in the rain?
Lip syncing in the rain. Which, I saw a meme recently because there's this thing years ago when Milli Vanilli came out. They found out that they were lip syncing. Mm-hmm. They weren't actually singing.
Mm-hmm. And not even lip syncing to their own voices.
Yeah, so because they were doing that, I think they had like their Grammys stripped from them, and they were such a big disgrace.
It was a whole drama. And
now they talk about people on TikTok. That's literally what 90% of TikTok is. It's people just mimicking. It won't necessarily. It's sometimes music. Sometimes it's a.
But usually they will tag the original thing, or like there is some sort of credit given to wherever that originated from. So it's not like they're trying to get Grammys or some sort of award from it. I mean, yes, it's all ridiculous.
They're trying to get followers, and
yes, that is true.
Which can translate to money. So
that is true.
There's that.
I'm sorry, I'm watching these mosquito larvae wake up in this vase, and it's really grossing me out.
When I wake up in my makeup.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they're singing to themselves.
I don't think that they have the capacity to sing.
You don't know
at all.
They could sing.
I said I think
they could sing.
They could sing. They're singers.
They're sinkers.
They're sangers.
I wish they'd be sinkers and die in the water.
No, they're swimmers. They're definitely.
They're so gross. They're not even swimmers. They're like thrashers.
Gyrators.
They're just like if you tried to change a 2-year-old's diaper underwater. That's what they look like. They just thrash about.
Not the poop, the 2-year-old.
I don't know, the poop in the water. Never mind. I'm getting too far into this analogy.
Getting real deep in the doo-doo talk.
Yuck. Also, I don't know if you'll be able to edit out the noises, but there's definitely some morning Florida noises. What are they? The cicadas? Not the cicadas. Grasshoppers? What are we hearing? Oh, that rain.
I don't know. Maybe it's not a cricket, so maybe a cicada.
All the cicada noises.
It doesn't sound like they're super close. They're maybe a yard or two away. But they're loud. And there's some bird that's going wah, 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 off in the distance as well.
Doing croquet.
Overall, I do enjoy this porch.
We made it nice.
I wish for a better cooling system. We are going to insulate the roof soon. So
if somebody would go pay the bill.
The bill?
You have to prepay. You have to give them like 50%.
They get nothing from me. They can show up with materials.
Well, then I guess we're not getting.
They can show up with the materials, and I'll give them a check then.
That's not going to happen.
Oh.
100% won't happen. I already called.
Dumb. Maybe I'll tell them, like, come on, man, I used to work for you guys. What's up?
Then they'll probably tack on 20%. Like, oh, we remember you. Now you owe us more. And materials that you ruined when you were a teenager.
Yeah, we remember when you were sleeping on the insulated roof styrofoam one time.
On the roof?
No. No. Okay, here's the story.
I was like, how
so there I was
on a roof in Florida? That sounds horrible.
Back when my step-grandfather was still alive, he worked at Huff Brothers.
I have brothers.
And
I don't know. Maybe
I have brothers. And when he worked at Huff Brothers, I mean, like, my whole family worked at Huff Brothers throughout the many years on that side, that whole step-parent side. So he worked after he got to a certain age, when they started calling him the old man. The old man worked in the warehouse.
That's rude.
So when, like, parts would come in, like, for a roof or for this job or that job, he was there to make sure it was put in the right place and helped unload the semi-truck. One of the things they had were giant sheets of styrofoam. And these giant sheets of styrofoam, if you think of, like, a piece of plywood size-wise, give or take a little bit. But it was foam.
But it's like that science fair
but
foam board stuff?
No, it's like, I don't know, 3 inches thick. Like, it's a thick piece of styrofoam. And what they do is they use that for, like, insulated roofs. For, like, aluminum roof, they'll cut it, or depending on the type of roof, they can just lay it in place and put a piece over.
So they use that as insulation.
So that's the insulation in your insulated roof. It's styrofoam. Okay. And it was hot one day, and I don't remember what he was doing. So I worked along with him. During my, I guess, senior year. I would get off of school and I would go straight to Huff Brothers, and I would help him load up stuff. And I worked there for, I don't know, like $6 an hour or something ridiculous like that. Exactly.
That's way above minimum wage at that point.
Maybe. Yeah, but I wasn't doing minimum job. I was doing more.
Man's job.
But yeah, so we're up there, and one day I was just like, I'd had it kind of thing, and I sat up there, and I was rearranging, and I sat down, and I just passed out. Because it was a hot day, I was sweating, all that kind of stuff. And he woke me up some undisclosed amount of time later and made me punch out and finish the rest of my day off the clock to kind of make up for the time that I was sleeping on the job.
I wonder if he, like, found you and woke you up that moment, or watched your ass sleep for, like, 2 hours and was like, this son of a bitch. I'm going to
get off in about 2 hours.
Exactly.
He's been sleeping for 2 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I punched out at that time and then just worked off the clock the rest of the time. Which is a way to fix it, so to speak. But had I gotten injured while I was not on the clock...
That would have been some problems.
Yeah, so that would have been a very interesting thing. That was definitely the only time I ever fell asleep on the job like that. But I think that was a good indication that maybe I wasn't cut out for that line of work.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you probably fell asleep at Harris, too.
I mean, well, maybe I'm just not, I wanted to fall asleep at Apple. Sometimes with Apple, sometimes when I worked at Apple, or most times, our call volume was so high that you wanted to sleep, but you couldn't sleep. Mm-hmm. So there was...
Can't fall asleep while actually speaking to
exactly.
someone.
So but
I don't know. I've been in the process of telling a story and just almost gotten there, but I'm probably like laying down anyway.
Yeah, well, the thing is you're telling a story, but I'm troubleshooting at this point, so I'm like using my brain. So it wants to take a nap, but it's like, well, you're really pushing me through the paces here. So, and I remember sometimes getting off of work at Apple, and I would like just crash.
Your brain was going nonstop. I don't know. I helped a family member recently with a slight iPhone debacle for all of 10 minutes, and I wanted to put my head through a wall. So I don't know how he did that for 5 years.
Well, I didn't do it for 20.
5 years, though, is a very long time because 5 minutes felt like an eternity.
Well, you do know.
And I also quit my job at that point. My job that lasted 10 minutes. I was like, never again.
I mean, honestly, it's so easy to fix some of these things. Like, give me your phone and boop, done. Like, that's easy. Like, how do I download an app? What's the app you want? Boom, 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 boom. All right, let me create a assignment for you.
For a second, I was like, oh, I'll just get them to mirror screen or mirror share, whatever it's called, where you share the image of your screen. And I was like, never mind. That's going to be a whole thing by itself.
Yeah, exactly. So those kind of things, it's like, you know what? If I could just get it into my hand, that's so much easier. And there's so many things when working at Apple where like you're saying, trying to get them to do a thing, and they're so unfamiliar with their device that they can't even do that thing. And you're like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to fix this if I can't even go into settings? Where is that?
I'm pretty sure that's exactly why they finally came up with where you could take over for them.
I was like,
on certain things.
I was never allowed to control. So that was the thing. They wanted us to be completely blameless, if you will. So they disabled our ability to control their screen or anything like that. Oh. So all we could do is screen share so we could see their screen.
Gotcha.
But they would still have to navigate through all the menus and all of this. But using the screen share thing, I'd have to go to apple.com/screen share or whatever the website was. Or I would send them a link. That's what I'd do. I'd send them a link. They'd click on the link. They'd go to the page. And then they'd have to go to this thing and said, I agree, accept, and all. And that part was so hard for some people. And I'm like, you do not. If you cannot enable the screen share when I send it to you, because it's pretty straightforward, it was like, you may not be a candidate for owning an Apple device.
But they have crickets.
But the problem is I think that an Android device would be the exact same thing. Like, all right, do this exact same thing so I can share. No,
I don't think it's a matter of which company. I just think it's
smartphones
have gotten so advanced that. I mean, I don't know probably a bunch of features on the phone. I probably am at the level though that I could find a way to figure it out or find a website or an article or something like that, or somebody walk me through it. But that's just unfortunately a generational thing that.
Talking about my generation. But it is funny where my grandparents were like, my grandfather was like, no, I would never, ever, ever touch an iPhone or anything. Like, to get him to use a computer was a big thing to begin with. But he got pretty comfortable on the computer for basic, getting on the internet and going to Amazon and things like that. And even, I'll have to give him credit because he learned how to navigate the library's website and request books and put books on hold, he learned that on his own. For as far as my knowledge is, I think he learned that on his own. So I'm actually pretty proud of that.
Kindle.
With a Kindle, yeah.
Yeah, he figured out the library stuff, but then when he got a Kindle, I helped him figure out, which I don't do often, and I forget that it can be a little bit tricky. And I did it recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I gave all the instructions.
To get a book through the library.
To get a book through the library. To put it on hold or borrow it or whatever is not difficult, but then when you want to put it on your device because it's a Kindle, you actually, the Libby app will, or the Overdrive website will actually direct you to Amazon because it's a Kindle. So you borrow it through the library, but you actually have to go onto the Amazon website to borrow it. So whatever contract they have with each other is very clear to them, I'm sure, but it becomes very confusing when you tell somebody so you're going to borrow a book from the library, you're going to log into your Amazon account, and then go from there. It's very strange.
So we would say clear as mud.
It is clear as mud. Or as, I'm trying to think of the word my dad uses when something's confusing. I don't know. Nebuloso is definitely a version of that, but there's a different word that he uses sometimes when it's just not clear.
Now, not in your dad's defense, but in the world's defense, a lot of what your dad says
is nebuloso.
They're not even real words, some of them. They may not even be real words, or he'll use them completely out of context if it is. But some of it's just noises.
Yeah, like zoop zoop.
Zoop zoop. I went out there, I got the knife, and I zoop zoop.
Or when I was on the phone with him this morning and he was saying something and then you drove up and my phone connected to the car. And my dad was in the middle of making a very clear statement. I had heard what he had been saying before, but apparently when he got into the car, he was going...
And so literally all I do is I was out and I came in and my car was quiet. The car, there wasn't any music playing, anything like that. But what happened? So the car's silent. I pull into the driveway and I hear my father-in-law's voice going... And I'm like, what did I miss? What just happened here,
Obviously, that was the sign for him, the sound for him being very confused. Or things being cattywampus. So.
It's it said connect the green thing to the red thing, but the red thing to the blue thing, and I was like, yeah.
At times.
It was nebulous. Nebuloso.
Nebuloso. Which I don't think is a word.
No. Nebuloitis, even.
It's time for Kitty Arms.
All right, the next one is going to be to know or not know beans.
So you could say, you don't know beans. Or you don't know beans about that.
You don't know nothing about that.
You don't know nothing. That's right.
I guess I kind of alluded to that one.
Yeah, I would say you kind of gave that one away. All right, well, that was a short one. No, I actually have to look at what that one was.
Beans?
I forgot. I'm just going to read it straight from the book here. This is usually in the negative. One who doesn't know beans is appallingly ignorant or is wholly unacquainted with the subject under discussion. It is likely that the expression arose from some story that went the rounds in America early in the 19th century, but if so, the story has been lost. It is possible, however, that it arose from some early dispute over cowpea.
What?
No, not that kind of cowpea, not urine of cows, cowpea. Which, despite the name, is more nearly related to the bean than to the pea, which is often called either black-eyed bean or black-eyed pea. But as Walsh suggests, I'm not sure who Walsh is specifically, it is more likely that the reference was to the famous city of Boston, the home of the bean and the cod. You ever heard of Boston?
Yeah, that's where our neighbors used to live. Remember? Artie and Debbie?
Nope.
Wrong.
They live in Long Island.
They're from Long Island. So Boston.
Close enough. Whatever.
Boston is sometimes
Same.
called Beantown.
So they don't say Boston. They say Boston.
So, yeah. So they're saying that apparently if you don't know how to make beans, like Boston baked beans, because apparently Boston being called Beantown.
Interesting.
Are
baked beans from there?
Don't think they're from there, but but they may make them a certain way. So if you make them wrong, you don't know beans.
Okay.
All right. Here is one. I just like this one. So we're going to put the cart before the horse.
Well, fill your cart first, and then hook your horse up.
So you're saying like get your cart ready.
Take care of your cart
before you take care of the horse. If you're going to go on a trip, you shouldn't hook up your horse and then pack it.
Yeah.
That'd be like turning on your car before you pack your car. You'd be wasting gas and it wouldn't be good for anything, right?
Yep.
That's not bad.
Wasting gas.
All right, so to put the cart before the horse, that was actually a very good one.
example.
I like
that. It actually sort of leads into what the actual meaning is.
So you would say, in your case, you'd want to do it in the right order, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually, it does mean to do things in the right order, but not exactly the way you said it. So to put your cart before your horse, you start off, if you think about, if you were in a wagon, I know you've never been in like a Conestoga wagon, like in the Oregon Trail, but normally you've got is the horse in the front or the back?
Front.
So you're putting your horse before or in front of the cart, right?
Uh-huh.
So they can do what?
Pull.
All right. So do you typically see the cart before or in front of the horse? It doesn't like push the cart. It pulls the cart, right?
Yes.
So that's actually where they get that saying. So just like you said, you want to do it in the right order. So that's 100% right. I like your take on it. It's maybe a more modern version. So in this case, you were correct as to the meaning of it, but not the exact foundation. So I love how you somehow were able to get something that wasn't
So it doesn't make logical sense to physically put the cart in front of the horse. You're not going to get anywhere that way. But it also doesn't make logical sense to hook up your horse without packing your cart. So, yeah.
I like
Almost same.
Yeah. Maybe your horse will be like, whatever, bye.
Exactly. You hook up your horse to the cart that's empty, and you go to get your stuff from inside and walk out to pack your cart, and your cart done gone.
Yeah, he might get spooked, and if he has an empty cart, he might be able to pull that cart behind him. So I like yours. I mean, the other one is the one that people have probably said for hundreds of years or whatever, but Desmond just came up with his own version, and
Mind blown.
I think you nailed it, bro.
I love it. I love your Kidium.
Yeah.
This year is our 20th anniversary. What? So yes, 2002 is the year we got married, and 2022 is this year, and we're about a month away. What's today's date? 20-something?
For third.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, we're just over a month away from our 20th anniversary.
And spoiler, we're an interracial couple.
That's right. I am.
Yeah, suck it, 1958.
I'm from Samoa. No?
Sure.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
I think that was like a character of some sort. Samoa Joe. We'll have to figure it out.
We're going to Google it. There'll be no figuring.
Well, that's what I mean by figure, obviously. Figure.
Look it up.
Look up the answers. Go to the answer key.
So, well, go 2022 for being less...
More tolerant?
bigoted, I guess. Yeah.
More tolerant
Sure.
to different people.
Sure.
And if you want to talk about different, go look at Digna. She is different as hell.
It's true.
All right, well, embrace your differences.
Don't be gross.
Hopefully you're going to have a bones day versus a no bones day. And
If you don't know about Noodle the Pug, look him up.
Yes.
And then you'll figure out what having a bones versus a no bones day is.
All right, guys. Be safe.
Bye!
Bye.
This has been a Getting to Know Brews presentation.
Music provided by purpleplanet.com. That's purple-planet.com.